Anthology on the bad, short-lived, and forgotten shows and events in TV history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Episode number 558, submission number 2576, Star Words. Star Words was a series of pilots done between May and June of 1983 for CBS. Now you're going to hear the theme music. It comes from a very popular movie from about a year before these pilots were done, from a little movie called Tootsie.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nipsey Russell! And Star Wars!
Holy moly! Yeah! How about it? Yes, sir! Indeed! Yeah! Each day we turn another page. You know you're reaching middle age when your pimples and your rashes turn to wrinkles and hot flashes.
That was the Working Girl March from Tootsie. So when Dustin Hoffman's going down the street, Tootsie's strutting her stuff and she's all confident and whatnot, you hear that Working Girl March. It's 1983. Game shows are making a rebound. There was a dead period just a year earlier where we didn't have a whole heck of a lot of game shows on daytime schedules. We had The Price is Right. We had Wheel of Fortune. Really, in 81 and 82, we lost Card Sharks and we lost Password Plus and we lost Blockbusters. Family Feud was still going strong at that time. But you had a resurgence in game shows, especially with shows like Sale of the Century and even Dreamhouse to a certain extent. CBS, which already had Child's Play at this point, wanted more. Or maybe this was going to be a replacement for Child's Play. Who knows? This game was reminiscent of some other shows. I think you see a little bit of Match Game in this. You definitely see a little bit of Password in this. So you do have some existing Goodson Todman formats sort of being melded together in this pilot. The host of the pilot is Nipsey Russell. Gosh, where would we know him from? Obviously, Match Game, being a game show celebrity, is probably his big claim to fame. But he was on Car 54, Where Are You? Back in the early 60s. And he's the poet laureate of television. Every time he's on the air, he makes some snappy little quatrain. People laugh. And they're timely quatrains usually. Taking a stab at the government or something. A little bit earlier than this time, May, June of 1983, Nipsey Russell was hosting Juvenile Jury on BET, and this is around the time that BET just started up. So maybe it's not as popular as it would become 10 years later, 20, 30, 40 years later. It's a fledgling network. And then 2.5 years later or so, Nipsey Russell would host his only true game show, a show that we covered a while back called Your Number's Up. The way this game is played, you have two teams with one celebrity and one civilian player in each team. And for all these pilots, the celebrities were Charles Nelson Reilly, speaking of like perennial game show celebrities. Charles Nelson Reilly is definitely in your Rolodex if you need a celebrity for a game show. But also, the other celebrity is Patty Duke. Definitely a friend of the game show. Maybe not to the extent of Charles Nelson Reilly, but a very adept player in her own right. You have two teams with one celebrity and one civilian, as I had mentioned. And the idea is to pick pairs of words off the board to convey a certain subject. And we'll play an example of the game And what we're going to do is, Chico, you're going to leave. But before you leave, I'm going to give you 5 words. So mull over these 5 words. And actually, if we're actually playing the game, one team can buzz in before all 5 words are revealed. They'll only see whatever words are revealed, but they can make a connection in 2 clues, 3 clues, 4 clues, what have you. So the words we're going to play with in this little mock round are trash, magazine, song, American, and military. Now get out of here. Greg, what 2 words do you want to play?
I want to play trash and American.
What answer are you going to correlate or connect with trash and American?
Oh, that's easy. Hulk Hogan.
All right, let's bring Chico back in here. Okay, Chico, just for our purposes, since people can't see what's going on here, did you hear anything that Greg and I talked about for the last 30 seconds or so?
No, sir.
Okay, good. So Greg has chosen the words trash and American. Do you have an answer?
Hulk Hogan.
And that's right. Did I hear somebody say my name?
Damn it.
No, nobody said your name, Holster. Nobody said your name.
Get out of here, Terry.
No, I'm not leaving until I get booed.
Boo!
Boo!
Listen here, medical boy. Do I come to your place of work and boo at you?
I'm not in your place of work, you tool.
I said your place of work, tool. I'm a real American tool.
You're the whole f***ing Home Depot, good sir.
Now, Hulkster, I just need to ask you a question while you're here. You said that Elvis Presley watched you wrestle.
Yes, in 1979.
Elvis Presley was dead in 1977. How could he watch you wrestle?
He was doing a weekend at Bernie's thing. He was just so amazed. His heart just went out there, poof, dead. He's like, this is so good, my heart can't handle it. I'm going to heaven, brother. But I want to go back to Medicine Boy over here. I got a problem with you. Listen here. What are you doing taking vital fluids from Americans like tomato juice and lemonade?
That's blood and urine.
Oh, crap. I drank that earlier. I better go see a doctor.
Get out of here, you handlebar freak.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said about me, brother.
In that case, I need to work on getting better material. Heyo.
So that is how the game's played, minus the real American hero coming in here and saying his crap. You take 2 words, any 2 words, and you can even reuse sets of words if there's multiple answers. And the person who's in isolation has to match the subject that you come up with, which Greg and Chico did so beautifully and was not scripted at all. Each match was worth $50, and you could keep playing until you didn't match. So you could easily rack up $100, $150, $200 if you're on the same wavelength as the other player. Each team gets 1 turn, so once you miss, control goes over. Once they miss, it's the end of the round. But at the end of the round, there's something called a final shot. The final shot is 1 more attempt using those same 5 words to make 1 match for $100. If you match, you get the $100. There's no more playing. It's a literally final shot. And each team gets 1 chance at the final shot. Round 2 is played the exact same way, except the roles are reversed. The celebrity is in isolation. The civilian is outside of isolation. So the roles are changed. Again, the money is $50 for each right answer. You can continue until you miss. After each team has 1 try doing this, you get another final shot. So again, $100 if you play two more words and you can make a connection doing that. And then there's a final sort of catch-up round where 5 new words are given, and you can play as long as you keep matching at $100 a match. I believe, if I remember correctly, the team with the lowest score goes first, kind of as a way to cut down on time, but also a way to save a little bit of money. Whoever has the most money at the end of the game, after each team has played that final round, if necessary, if the team that's behind didn't at least catch up, there's no reason for the team in the lead to play. But the team that won the big enchilada, they go to a bonus round for $5,000. It's basically the same game that we saw earlier, but now we have 10 words. And Nipsey Russell is going to give a name, an answer, which corresponds to 2 of the words out of the 10. If you can get 10 correct in 60 seconds, that's $5,000. If not, you win $100 per answer. I didn't notice any major changes between the pilots because Pilot A and Pilot B and Pilot C can all be seen on YouTube. And at least 2 of the pilots have aired in the past on Buzzer. So they didn't change the rules. They didn't up the money. I think they just wanted a couple of different ways of playing the game to show to CBS and say, hey, this game could possibly pay off like $700, $800 on an episode, or at most it'll be like $5,300, $5,400. Not a budget breaker to say the least, especially if you consider that Child's Play, I think they were giving away a similar amount of money. I think it was $500 for winning the main game, and then you could win up to $5,000 in whatever iteration of the bonus round was being used on any given day. Ultimately, CBS took a hard pass on this, and I wonder if this was passed up in favor of Press Your Luck, because Press Your Luck would have premiered in September of '83, and I said this was done 3.5 months earlier, May and early June of 1983. That brings up a very interesting what if. What if CBS went with Star Words instead of Press Your Luck? We'd have Elizabeth Banks with like Yvette Nicole Brown and whoever the male celebrity that's on all the game shows nowadays is. I don't know. Mo Rocca. Let's say that. I don't think Mo Rocca's been on any game shows. He'd be good for this, though. But seriously, if we didn't have Press Your Luck in 1983, we might be celebrating the 6th season of Star Wars with Elizabeth Banks on ABC. Right.
Yeah, if that had happened, the poor Whammy, he never would have had a job.
I could have played Star Wars. I knew that American Trash meant Hulk Hogan. You gotta give the Whammy credit. He knew that American Trash is Hulk Hogan. Let's just see how you would have done with these other pairs of words. Trash Magazine.
Playboy.
That's what I would have said. How about Trash Song? What do you got, Whammy? Trash Song. I want to hear what Chico says, because he's probably going to have a better answer than I've got. I'm sorry, not better answer than I've got, better answer than you got. Oh, crap. Okay, that may stay in. I want to hear what Chico says for that, because his answer may be better than your answer, Whammy. Trash Song.
Song.
Trash Song.
Hair metal.
Really?
That's the best thing I could think of, all right?
He's never heard of Friday. Friday, Friday. I hate this Friday. Okay, let's do some more. Oh, God, I can't do this. Military trash.
Fort Bragg. No, sorry.
Dissing his own North Carolina heritage. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so besides...
I can. I'm an army brat, okay?
Besides a dig at Fort Bragg, what is military trash?
Mess.
I would have said Pete Hegseth.
Oh!
No, let's call him by his proper name, Drunky McDrunkerson.
Oh, I like that even better. I would have said Drunky McDrunkerson. Whamy's adopting it. I like it. Okay, this one I had problems thinking about one, but I've got one here. Magazine song.
Rolling Stone.
Dang, you know that. Well, that's not bad. I had centerfold because the anus is the center hole. Anus
Did
is
you
the
just
center
say
hole.
the anal?
You've never heard that misheard lyric?
The-
Anus is the center hole.
I have never heard-
na. I'm just defiling the Jay Giles band. I'm sorry.
My goodness gracious.
American Magazine.
Time.
Yeah, I would have said Smithsonian. Time's not a bad one. Military Magazine.
Army Times.
Soldier of Fortune.
Guns
Okay, this-
and Ammo.
Song American.
American Pie.
I thought you'd go with the Star Spangled Banner. But again, you're seeing there's a lot of different ways you could do this. Song Military.
Reveille.
The Ballad of the Green Berets.
I had Battle Hymn of the Republic. And then last, American Military.
Marines.
Greg?
I don't know.
I would have just gone with Army.
Army. Yeah.
Maybe there's a little too much thinking going on. But again, all of these sets of words, you pick two of them, you can make it work somehow. Maybe some of them might be a bit of a stretch, but we just showed that 10 combinations of these words work out pretty well. Maybe a little challenging. American Military, you could go like 5 different ways. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force. Good heavens. But again, it can all be done. What I believe is the most memorable part of these pilots, specifically the second and the third pilot, is the ending. The ending is that march theme from Tootsie, which you heard earlier. But Nipsey Russell, one thing I noticed in both the open and the close of each of these pilots, he loves dancing. And at the end of the pilot, you've got Nipsey Russell and you've got Charles Nelson Riley on one side of him, and you've got Patty Duke Aston on the other side of him. And as the theme music is going, they boogie down. And they boogie down in a way only Nipsey Russell can lead. The second and third pilots, you actually see Nipsey Russell bumping booties with Charles Nelson Riley, and that might be the image that's forever etched in my brain for this pilot. The pilot, I thought it was clever. I thought it was different. But the end, you got Nipsey Russell and Charles Nelson Riley, who probably would have been somewhere around his mid-50s at this point, and Patty Duke, who she would have only probably been no older than 40 at this point. But you see Nipsey Russell, who, gosh, at that point he had to be probably somewhere in the range of about 65, 70. He's getting down and he bumps booties with Charles Nelson Riley. And he does it with Patty Duke Aston too. But I'm here to talk about Nipsey Russell bumping booties with Charles Nelson Riley, which is absolutely hilarious. Hey, it's 1983 at this point. Had we ever had a mixed race booty bump by two men? No, I don't think so. If you look back at the annals of history, you don't see a black man and a white man ever bumping booties on television at some point. No, that was groundbreaking. That was like William Shatner kissing Nichelle Nichols. That was bigger than that, I say. Bigger than the first interracial kiss on television. It was the first interracial booty bump between two men of the same sex. Landmark. So yeah, that's my takeaway from Star Wars. Didn't cut it in 1983. We got the whammy instead. And hey, if it wasn't for the whammy, we wouldn't have all these bits that we've been doing for the last, 4 years, 5 years. It could have been me and Greg ending up bumping booties, for all you know.
How would we have known this, Mike?
Just hypothesizing. Just spitballing, saying, this could have been the trend in 1983 and 84, bumping booties with perfect strangers, because Nipsey Russell did it with Charles Nelson Riley. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, that'd be sexual assault nowadays. So maybe it's a good thing that the booty bump did not catch on. So thank you, Whammy. Thank you, Pressure Luck, for saving millions of lawsuits, I think. What can we say about Star Wars? I thought it was clever. I may have been the only one. Apparently CBS didn't think it was clever. They went for a reboot, a second chance in 1983.
And that's why Star Wars, this sucky pilot, just became a thing on TV. Thanks for sucking, Star Wars.
You can find us at our website, itwasthathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV Podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time.
Next time, we are going to have a mini-sode, and it is the 40th anniversary of a historic moment in sports. It was the first of its kind. And it involved a top prospect that was heavily hyped to be the next big thing in the NBA. And so you have 7 teams wanting to win the right for this heavily hyped prospect. So what happens when you have 7 teams fighting it out?
Well, I guess you're going to have 6 teams that are really unhappy that they didn't get that first overall pick.
Oh, yes. But you'll find out more about that this weekend at It Was a Thing on TV. For Mike, for Chico, I'm Greg, and we'll see you with that mini-sode next time. Wow! Guys, would you believe I have an amazing discovery about Charles Nelson Riley?
I did not expect this to be the way the episode ended, but go for it.
Okay, let's play it.
Now here's the host of Amazing Discoveries, Mike
Klaus.
With Greg Diener.
Now, guys, this relates to earlier this week, and I thought this was fitting. Charles Nelson Riley was on the 5th week of the 1982 Tattletales revival. The first group that was on that week was Tim Reed and Daphne Maxwell. So that ties in with our last episode. The second group is Jack Smith and Abby Dalton. But the third group with Charles Nelson Riley. Now, Chico, are you sitting down to see who was paired with Charles Nelson Riley this week?
I am on bated breath waiting here.
Okay, get ready. Julie Harris was paired with Charles Nelson Riley.
Lily Mae from Knots Landing.
Yes.
She was with Charles Nelson Riley.
Yes.
Was it Best Friends Week by chance?
I think it was, because if you recall, Charles Nelson Riley and Julie Harris, I think they worked together on Broadway.
Well, also, we established previously that Charles Nelson Riley was butt-bumping Nipsey Russell.
Yes. But, Julie Harris, we got to play our sector. Okay. Joshua Rush, it's time to go over the edge of the cliff.
You're cruel to your wife. Your own sister's afraid of you, and you lie to all of us.
Mama, I
the worst part is, the sad part is that I believed you. Every time you lied to me, I believed you because I loved you. Because you are my son, my flesh. I am what you made me. Oh, stop it! Stop blaming others for your faults. I don't care anymore. I don't care that I was a bad mother. Or that Jonathan beat you. I only care that you have become a monster. And you trample on everybody. You devour everything you touch. Mama. Don't call me Mama. I'm not your mother. No more Mama. You're not my son. How could I have given birth to anyone as cold, as cruel, as... Yes!
That's what you get for treating Cappy like